Murder of Bazooka Radebe is under the spotlight, and accusations have been leveled against Major-General Gopaul Govender, who was recently appointed head of Hawks in Limpopo. Govender is accused of attempting to shut down an investigation into the murder of Bazooka Radebe. Let's now shed some light on this matter. We're joined by Nonhle Mbuthuma, who speaks for the Amadiba Crisis Committee. Nonhle, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time tonight here on In Focus. The matter, of course, has been extensively investigated also by publication Daily Maverick, looking at this particular matter. And what is coming out clearly is that there is an information note that is seemingly a game changer in this particular matter, that is supposedly requesting that this matter now go into an informal inquest instead of a formal inquest. Tell me, why do you think there would be a call for an informal inquest when Amadiba Crisis Committee believes that Bazooka was killed by two men?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and also thank you for the listeners. This case, it's been going on for quite a long time. The murder of our late Bazooka. Since 2016, we are struggling, going back and forward, try to find the answers, but there is no answers. General Govender, which was the head of the Hawks, we were hoping that he is going to cooperate and work with us on this matter. But we just see that the only thing that we've seen from him, where he was rushing to close the case without any thorough investigation. That's what it brings us today, because it's clear that he have no interest to solve the case, but instead his interest is to close the case. That is why we said that also when they try to bring this inquest, also they're choosing the inquest where it's going to be a closed one, where only it's not open to everyone. That's what he's doing. And also the way that he reported right down, defaming the private investigators, that as Amadiba Crisis Committee, that we spend money to make sure that this case has been solved. But it's clear that also the report that there's no cooperation between the private investigators and the police. But this is what it brings us today.
Yeah, there's a lot of road that you have traveled since 2016 up until this point, and we'll try and get to some of it. But I want to quickly get to this. You have opened a case with IPID, have you?
My husband, Dick Forsland, he opened the case on behalf of, because we been accused by Govender that my husband, Dick Forsland, is using a closer woman to gain money overseas. That's why he's hiring these private investigators, which is not true. What he's saying, the money that we raise, it was for the justice of Bazooka, nothing more. And also to call me a closer woman, General Govender, he knows myself because we met personally, where he was also trying to understand the death threats that were pointing directed to me.
Yeah. We'll get into that a little bit more. So talk to me about, firstly, what you believe is a distinct thread of bias and unprofessionalism on the part of Brigadier Govender. I mean, firstly, you're saying there has been a clear attempt on the part of Govender, as far as the information note is concerned, to badmouth Bazooka. Of course, by the way, the information note that the media has got is not a signed one, and it does seem that Brigadier Govender has distanced himself from that particular information note. But if it is true, what does the information note say about Bazooka?
You know, the more information that is on the case, on the docket with Govender, it's where he's talking about Bazooka was not a saint. also his link with the Marikana person was being murdered, and also the whole Mount Leaf is known. He was a former chairperson of the taxi industry. We know all that, and Bazooka was being questioned, was being asked by the police, and somebody was being arrested about that Marikana Inyanga was being also been assassinated. And I don't know why now it's becoming something that is being brought as something that he must be put on the document. It means that he just poured the water on this case to make sure that that is why he is rushing to close this case without any thorough investigation.
So is there a suggestion that Mr. Georgia could have been involved? He could have threatened Bazooka at some point, it seems, and could have been involved in this killing? Is that what this is suggesting?
Come again?
I'm saying, is it suggesting that then Mr. Georgia could have, who had allegedly threatened Bazooka in 2012, could have been involved in his killing?
This is what he's putting when he's bad-mouthing him, instead of investigating who murdered Bazooka, because at this stage, we are not talking about who is killing the Inyanga of Marikana. The question is about who murdered Bazooka. That's what we want to see from him. And also, if he was doing that investigation, he come to explain to everybody that I cannot proceed with this case because there's this where he was linked with the murder of the Marikana Inyanga. And then it was going to help us to understand and to question why somebody was being arrested for that murder, but not Bazooka. Now it's been put in the case of Bazooka.
I'm still with our spokesperson for the Amadiba Crisis Committee, Nonhle Mbuthuma, and it's on the matter of the killing of Bazooka. They are, of course, raising doubts about the Hawks General, Major-General Gopaul, Gopz Govender, and his willingness to actually investigate this matter and prosecute it. Nonhle, let's come back now to one of the other issues. I mean, there was a hijacking that took place as well as the murder, and there's been a push, at least from the affidavit of your husband, to merge the two dockets. How far has that gone?
Yes, of course. That's another battle that we fight on this investigation of this matter, where the case of the murder was somewhere and the hijacking was in KwaZulu-Natal. Where we said that, general, it cannot be separated. Even the 5-year-old child, it knows that this is a one case. And then it takes centuries also for Govender also to understand that these are one case. It's not separate case. You cannot treat a case of a murder somewhere and you treat a hijacking car, which is the hijacking car was being used to murder Bazooka. Why it's been separated?
And what are the Hawks saying?
It was really difficult because they said that the hijacking was taking place in KwaZulu-Natal, and then the murder was happening in Eastern Cape. Now these are two cases, which is not true. The person that knows the law, the car was being used to murder Bazooka. Now you cannot separate the two. So up until today, are the two matters still being investigated separately? I don't know how far it is, but this is the battle that we push back and forward to the Govender, that please bring these two cases together.
Now,
it was really difficult to cooperate with him.
Has the coming in of General Ngwenya into the matter made things any easier for you?
The coming in of General Ngwenya, we were hoping that things are going to make things easier, because if you are doing the investigation and then there's police involved are working with you in order to solve the case, things are going to be easy. But also, Ngwenya himself, he did all his best to make sure that things are going forward, but everything ended up stand still.
So what I'm reading is that the NPA is saying that the prosecution decision to take the informal inquest route is the best under the circumstances because right now there are no suspects. And so there is no one that they can bring to a formal inquest. And unless at this stage there is new evidence that may exist that could justify having an inquest, they don't see any other possible route. Is there something that they're overlooking?
They're overlooking. For us, as that Amadiba Crisis Committee, we haven't seen that the justice been done, because also we need to see them to put things together, to connect the data, to collect all the data, to make sure that everything has been done. But all that we haven't seen been done, and also people must be, we want to see them questioning, but to rush to close the case at this stage is just defeating the end of justice. And if it's going to be continued like this, because this is a political matter, it means that most political matters will be quickly closed because of not investigated thoroughly.
What has your investigative team, Ndombela and partner, found out? I mean, are there suspects that they can present in this particular matter that could certainly be pursued?
No, they haven't found any suspect, but they play a very good role as private investigators to collect the data, the collection of networks, and everything to make sure that they see that the interviews are being done. But in order to do so as private investigators, they need the police to cooperate with them. That is where the block, it just stopped. Because if the police are not cooperating with the private investigators, because they are not authorized to arrest. Now, it means that even if they do the work is not going to go anywhere.
Nonhle, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on. That's Nonhle Mbuthuma, spokesperson of the Amadiba Crisis Committee on this matter. We did reach out to IPID, as I mentioned, and we will continue also to get the Hawks to give us their response on the matter and where the investigation is.